kecuali sekejap untuk Emba26JB dan kepada mereka yang rasa tak nervous untuk duduk dalam sesi ini, saya persilakan tapi dengan kameranya off lah, bagi peluang pada mereka yang membentang dan examiner sahaja di sesi untuk membentang. Dan pada Emba26, if you think you can be there to see what will happen to the next session nanti semester depan, yes, dipersilakan. Okay? Alright, but sekali lagi mutekan orang kata mic dan video. That's it. Okay, all the best to group 1 and advisor. InsyaAllah all is well. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to our panel today, Dr. Syahmi, Fadzil. And let me introduce myself first. My name is Nadiah binti Mohamad Nur, and with my team members.
My name is Mohd.Fais Bin Ismai.
And my name is Nuramalina. Selamat.
Okay, so today we will present our research topic on the factors of influencing turnover intention for registered nurse at KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital that is supervised by our supervisor, Dr. Raja Adzrin bin Raja Ahmad. Okay, the healthcare industry relies heavily on the expertise and dedication and registered nurses to provide essential care and support to patients. However, in recent years, there has been a rising issue of state registered nurses resigning from their positions, creating significant challenges for healthcare organization and potentially impacting patient care. So now we'll proceed on our problem statement, which is the high turnover intention among registered nurses at KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital. As we can see from the evidence as shown in the screen, 53 staff members resigned as registered nurse between October 2020 and September 2021. And it continues from October 2021 to September 2022, which is 229. The huge numbers between the 2 years comparison is 176. So what is concerning that the number of resignation increased annually? We can see in two terms. First, short term, existing registered nurse will be affected by the shortage of nurses. Existing registered nurse will experience a reduced work-life balance and intend to resign because of work overload. The second one is the long term, which is the quality of care provided by the registered nurse will be declined. So the aim of this study is to see the factors influencing turnover nurse at KPJ Johor Specialist Hospitals. Okay, so we move to the research objective. I think the slide can't move. Amina, can you help me? Okay, so this is the research objective that consists of three. First, to investigate the level of economic factors, work conditions, management-related factors, and also individual factors with factors among KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital staff registered nurse. And secondly is to identify the relationship between economic factors, work conditions, management-related factors, and individual factors with registered nurse KPJ Johor. And third, to provide recommendation and solutions to reduce turnover intention among registered nurse at KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital. For this research, we are using the Husband dual factor theory, in which motivator and hygiene factors will derive people, as we can see from the thesis, the research, the summaries. Okay, next. For the first dependent variable, we are using turnover intentions. According to the Abdullah Al-Mamun and Hassan 2017, the intention to turnover will be influenced by economic growth, a shortage of organization staff, and better employment possibilities. So we proceed to independent variable that we have four. First, economic factors, work conditions, management-related factors, and individual factors. Okay, next, we proceed to theoretical framework. This theoretical framework is to show the relationship between the independent variable and also independent variable that related to research study. So in this research study, independent variable was economic factors, as mentioned before, work conditions, management-related factors, and individual factors that will be related to dependent variable, which is turnover intentions. So our hypothesis H1 until H4, which is related to factors influencing turnover intention for registered nurse at KPJ Johor, especially hospital.
So we move on to the research methodology. So this is the brief overview of the research methodology. In KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital, we have a population of 358 active registered nurse. And from this population, we have selected 186 sample based on the table Precy and Morgan. Our primary data collection is from questionnaire, and the survey instrument in the questionnaire is separated into 3 sections. The first section is section A, respondent background, section B, factor influencing registered nurse turnover intention, and section C, suggestion or solution to reduce turnover intentions among registered nurse. And you can see that we derive the questions in the survey instrument from the references as per below. And this is our research hypothesis, which is the same as previously, so we're not going to delve deeper into that. So we move on to the data analysis and result.
Today, I will present our research finding on the factor influencing turnover intention for registered nurses at KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital. Okay, first, let's take a look at the demographic of our respondents. Actually, that we have 50 male and 175 female participants out of the total respondents. The age of our respondent can be divided into the 4 groups, which is the highest is the majority of 106 respondents were between the ages of 26 and 34. And also the lowest is 3 respondents were 50 and above. Moving on to educations, all our respondents had at least a diploma and or bachelor degree. A total of 190 respondents fell into this category. So now let's discuss the income level of our respondents. 139 respondents had a monthly income range between the 2,500 to 3,000. 37 respondents had a monthly income range from 2,000 to 4,000, and also the 40 respondents had a monthly income of 5,000 and above. Lastly, let's look at the expertise level of our respondents. The majority 183 respondents were state registered nurses. We also had 7 senior state registered nurses as participants in our research. And then we continue to our presenting the result of our reliability test, explicitly focusing on Cronval alpha outcome for each variables. From that table, that we can see that turnover intention of registered nurses in considerables at 0.729. This means the information we gather regarding their intention to leave their current position is accurate and trustworthy. Moving on, we also assess the reliability of our independent variables. The variable with the highest reliability value was individual factors at 0.914. This indicates that the data we collected regarding the factors influencing turnover intention is very reliable. Furthermore, economic factors score at reliability value at 0.896, work condition factors score 0.860, and management related factors score 0.847. This very reliable value suggests that the data we obtain regarding this variable is also valuable and considered excellent and tolerable. And then next, we analyze the data using Pearson correlation coefficient and significant level. Our finding reveals some interesting results. Firstly, we found a small relationship between turnover intention and economic factor at 0.201. This suggests that economic factors significantly have relationship turnover intention among registered nurses. Secondly, there is a medium relationship between the work condition and turnover intention at 0.201. Work conditions significantly influence the turnover intention among registered nurses. Thirdly, management factor also play a significant role. We found a small relationship between turnover intentions and management factor at 0.246. Lastly, individual factors were found to impact the turnover intention significantly in small relationship at 0.296. Our study support the hypothesis that economic factor, work condition, management-related factors, individual factors significantly have a relationship with turnover intention among residents in KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital, and answer of our research objective 2. So we're moving on to multiple regression analysis on registered nurse turnover intention. Okay, let's start by looking at the key finding from our analysis. Our regression model predict the turnover intention significantly more accurately than the mean value of turnover intention among registered nurses. Moving on the specific variables, we found that economic factor did not significantly influence the turnover intentions and that the significant value is more than 0.05 at 0.280. However, work condition factor significantly influence the turnover at 0.001 below than 0.05, supporting our hypothesis too. Similarly, management-related and individual factors significantly influence the turnover intention at 0.021 and 0.002, supporting our hypothesis 3 and 4, and also answering our research objective 1. Our analysis highlight the importance of considering work condition, management-related factor, and individual factor when addressing the turnover intention among registered nurses. So we proceed to our adjusted R-square value at 0.174, indicate that the 4 independent variable we assuming the significant influence resident intention to quit their employments. This means that 70.4% of the variance of turnover intention can be explained by economic factor, work condition factor, management-related factor, and also individual factor. However, it's essential to note that the other factor account for 82.60% of registered nurses' intention to leave their position. The F statistic 10.948 with significant level of less than 0.001 confirm a positive and statistically significant relationship between the independent variables and turnover intention. So I will hand over presentation to Ms. Amalina for her chapter 5.
So hello. So we move on to our recommendation and conclusion. Based on the previous analysis, we found out that work conditions, management-related factors, and individual factors are significant towards turnover intention among registered nurse turnover in KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital. Now we're going to move on to provide a recommendation and solutions to reduce turnover intention among registered nurse to fulfill our research objective 3. The recommendation and solutions is derived from the section C of our questionnaire, in which the registered nurses will provide recommendation and solutions towards improving the factors to reduce the turnover intention among registered nurse. These are the section C of our questionnaire. So we move on to the first significant factor, which is work conditions. So we are basing it on strategy and approach recommendation, in which to improve the work conditions, we have 3 main strategy and the approaches for that strategy. The first strategy is simplifying administrative tasks for the registered nurse, in which we can approach this by implementing EMRS and automating routine tasks. The benefits of this are time saving and improved efficiency, and thus reducing the human error. The second strategy is enhancing the work environment, in which we can provide ergonomic furniture and designated break areas, and also invest in equipment and technology for efficiency and job satisfaction among registered nurse. And the third strategy is regular assessment and improvement regarding the work conditions, in which we provide surveys, which is anonymous and confidential, and focus group discussion, and we also provide facilitation guidelines for productive conversation during the focus group discussion. And then the second significant factor, which is management-related factor, we have 3 main recommended strategy as well. The first one, management could establish recognition and reward program, in which we approach this by providing verbal recognition, certificates of appreciation, and performance-based incentive. And also the second strategy is to provide equal opportunities for career advancements and development, and management can support this by providing transparent promotion criteria, training and development opportunities, and benefits. And the benefits of this is continuous learning in enhancing nurses' capabilities. The third recommended strategy is fostering effective communication channels between the management and the registered nurse, in which we can facilitate dialogue and feedback, taking their input and turning it into change. The third and final significant factors, which is individual factors, we have 3 recommended main strategy as well. The first one is promoting a positive and supportive work culture, in which we acknowledge the impact from nurses to patient care, and we value their well-being, in which we take care of their health, and so on. The second strategy is support for personal life events, in which we provide flexible scheduling options, supportive leave of absence, and counseling services. The third one, work-life balance initiatives, in which we provide flexible parental and caregiving support, stress reduction and self-care programs, and offering stress management workshops and resources. We also have recommendation for other potential future areas for study to cover this. The first one is longitudinal studies, qualitative research, retention strategies, and comparative analysis. Our contribution for the findings, the first one is, the finding contribution for this is that we can assist KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital and hospitals in general to better understand the factors for high turnover intention among staff registered nurse. This can contribute to financial implications, impact on patient care, promoting a positive work environment, and providing a long-term workforce planning for KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital and hospitals in general. So in conclusion, our problems in this study is that the increasing number of turnover intention for registered nurse at KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital. The objective is to check the level of factors influencing relationship and strategies. The findings are 3 factors significantly influence RA turnover, and there are also significant relationship among variables. And our recommendation for this are strategies and approach based and further research to delve deeper into the study. Thank you very much. Sorry for the noise.
All right, can we just proceed with the Q&A directly?
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. Overall, it was a well-done thesis. Okay, just perhaps a little bit of comment from my side, okay? I know that you have a brilliant supervisor with you. Whatever it is, the comments I gave you today, please go back and recheck with PM Dr. Adzrin, okay?
Okay.
Okay, perhaps we're going to start with a simple question. Why did you choose this topic? What motivates you?
Okay, since I am the HR in KPJ Johor, so this is one of the issue and very biggest issue in KPJ Johor. We are getting very serious resignation of staff every month, and starting from the COVID-19 issue until now, because of once our border is opened, is affected very big affected to us, because all the registered nurse all goes to Singapore, Arab, and also every hospital in Johor will pinch every staff, every state registered nurse, and we are fight to each other.
All right, okay. So what lessons can you draw from this research? You did mention it was regarding this and that. So what lesson can you draw from this?
We have to find out what is our weakness in the hospital. Of course, we in management that we have to point out to the top management, for example, even about the financial of the salary structure, maybe upgrading for the benefit. We have to compare to ourselves, our hospital, to other hospital, that we can try to attract others to join us.
All right, okay. Thank you, Nadiah. Faiz, how about you? What is your main contribution of your research?
My contribution, I think that might be we can retain our existing registered nurses, because we have a finding our research, which is that we need to implement, and also that the some of the recommendation has actually that implement too. So to make sure that our contribution for the research is make it bigger to the KPJ Johor specialist, especially to retain our existing registered nurse and also attract the new registered nurse to come to KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital.
All right, thank you, Faiz. All right, the next one is Nuramalina. Okay, let's say if you are the CEO of KPJ Hospital and you did this research, what is, one recommendation that you're going to implement based on your research findings?
Well, if I was the CEO, I will start with one that is the most cost effective, which is the programs. Basically, the programs to improve the individual factors. So for individual factors, mainly the recommendations that we have is to improve the overall well-being of the nurses, and we will provide the programs for stress management, the counselings, and so on to help our nurses to get better to resolve their personal issues so that they can come to the work happily. So if I was the CEO of KPJ Johor Specialist Hospital, because this program doesn't really require a lot of capital and we can implement it straight away and we can see the result and in a relatively short amount of time. So I will, if I was the CEO, I will prefer to implement this recommendation first.
All right, okay. So I do hope, Nadiah, you're going to, forward these recommendations to your bosses.
Yeah.
All right, okay, moving on to the comments. For the chapter 1, I believe that the introduction was a bit too short. Okay? So as you can see, the introduction, you gave like 1 page.
Okay.
All right, so please, whatever it is that you want to mention, especially for the bold statement, strong statement, you need to back up with good evidence. Don't
Okay,
just mention.
Doctor, actually, the slide is not come out. Maybe Amanda can show the introduction because we actually shows about the newspaper, the story about the state registers all over the world. Actually, this one. I'm sorry that I'm not mentioned out in the slide.
All right, no worries, but I'm talking about the one in your thesis.
Okay.
Okay, the introduction should be a lot more. Turnover intention can be boring kind of issue, but again, yeah, it is applicable. It is happening right now. So you need to amplify on the overview, on the background related to your research. Okay, and yeah, you mentioned the research objective. We mentioned on the second paragraph of the introduction. Okay, preferably hujung-hujung. Okay, on the last paragraph, you explain a little bit first regarding the introduction. Okay, so and then okay, this is somewhat perlu di highlight regarding 1.61 situational analysis. You have provided your SWOT analysis, right? But I think that some of the element is out of place. Okay, for example, you did mention strength. Yes, strength. The choice of many insurance companies for the patient is part of the strength. Okay, when you want to do SWOT analysis, it should be based on the issue. Okay, the issue right now is factors related to the turnover intention of the registered nurses. So here, the context, the element you should provide is what is the strength related to this topic? Is it, work-life balance, compensation, benefits, so those kind of things related particularly.
Okay, meaning that focus on the state registered nurse.
Yeah, definitely. And again, on the scope of your research, okay, not the overall, SWOT of the KPG, okay?
Yeah. Okay,
All
understand.
right, for the problem statement, I do believe that some of the tables, the figures, you need to merge them down. Yeah. When I read that, it's a bit lengthy, I need to interpret what it does this mean dan sebagainya. Okay, I do believe that figure, if I'm not mistaken, 2 of the figures of the table 1.6, 1.7 can be merged together. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Okay, and then Herzberg dual factor theory 2.2. You did mention according to this research, okay, according to this study, but yet I cannot see where's the in-text citation, where's the evidence. Okay, all right. For the hypothesis, okay, this is related to your chapter 4. Okay, did you use Pearson correlation to measure your hypothesis?
Yes, Doctor.
Why not MLR?
MR?
Regression. Yeah, why not regression instead of Pearson correlation?
I think that the more proper we using the Pearson correlation to determine the relationship between the independent and dependent variables. So MLR we are using to focus or to identify the factor that affects significant on the turnover.
Okay, but you know what? There are many school of thought, but usually whenever we do this Pearson correlation, it's concerned with bivariate analysis. Okay, bivariate analysis meaning to say that it is one-to-one relationship. Okay, first IV with TV, and then the next one second IV with the TV, third IV, TV, and so on. But for regression, you're going to run your framework at once. So meaning to say that all of the variables are going to compete among them. Okay, that is for the regression lah. So try to sit down and discuss with your supervisor regarding this one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. And then again, last but not least, how are you going to measure the levels of, relationship? The levels of apa tu? What is your RO1 again?
To evaluate the level of factors.
The level of factors. So the level of factors, you measure that using regression, is that?
Regression, yeah. Determined for using the
just to
significant value.
All right, just to share a bit lah. Usually the levels, when we want to measure levels, usually it concerns with descriptive statistics. Okay, descriptive statistics like the mean, standard deviation. You know what? It doesn't mean that when you use descriptive statistic, it's going to be very dry. No. If let's say you really explain the descriptive statistic regarding the level, you can, you have the potential to publish it in, Scopus Index Conference, for example. Okay, usually for the level, we use it to measure that mean. Okay, so we can see the level. Is it 1 ke, 2 ke, 3 dan sebagainya. That's the level usually lah. But again, there are many schools of thought. You need to sit down and discuss with your supervisor relating this. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. The rest of the comments, saya akan bagi dalam separate email. Okay. So overall, thank you and well done for your presentation.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay, group 2, your time starts the moment the first speaker speak lah. Okay? All the best. Dr. Syahmi, are you still there? Can we start?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. All right, good luck, group 2. All the best.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to our examiner, advisors and fellow friends. Before we start, let me introduce our group member. My name is Siti Fairuz and my other group member is Nurul and Nurul Ashira. Today we are going to present our research on the effect of working environment, career growth opportunity and stress on employee satisfaction, a study among investigation officer in IPD Johor Bahru Selatan. We divided our presentation into 5 main sessions. Okay, next. Okay, this is our table of content. Next, okay, the chapter 1 introduction, background of research, employee satisfaction. Employee satisfaction is essential to an organization's success because happy worker produce better work and add to the success of the whole. The working environment impact employee performance and satisfaction with the career growth opportunity crucial for the skill development and job satisfaction. Meanwhile, the stress reaction are influenced by subjective perception, sources, and personal quality. According to the study conducted by Afaki et al. 2020 and Kotamina et al. 2020, employee satisfaction is significant and positively affected by the employee performance. Okay, next is problem statement. Employee satisfaction is crucial in all organizations, including the Royal Malaysian Police. Employee satisfaction is positively correlated with factors like working environment, career growth opportunity, and stress. This study intends to investigate the factor of the effect of that factor on the employee satisfaction within the RMP. Okay, background of the company. RMP is a primarily uniform federal force in Malaysia and centralized organization. The headquarters are located at Bukit Aman, Kuala Lumpur. IPK Johor formal opening in 1976. There were 13 police district headquarters in Johor and 10 departments. IPD Johor Bahru Selatan has 94 police officers at higher rank and 1,253 at lower rank. 110 investigation officer, which is 8.70% of the total workforce at IPD Johor Bahru Selatan. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is a academic structure, SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is a tool that used to understand the current situation of the company to identify that factor that influence employee satisfaction among investigation officer in IPD Johor Bahru Selatan. This section will be covered more detail in chapter 5 and some recommendation based on our SWOT analysis. The research framework is to demonstrate the relationship between independent and dependent variable. The independent variable will indicate by the working environment, career growth opportunity, and stress, while the dependent variable was indicated by employee satisfaction among the investigation officer in IPD Johor Bahru Selatan. The framework provides empirical support for understanding the factor affecting the employee satisfactions. Okay, next, presenter.
As we can see, there are three research questions and objectives in the study. Moreover, the study, as our research hypothesis, we find that the higher the stress, the lower the employee satisfaction among investigation officers in IPD Johor Bahru Selatan. The next presenter.
Okay, proceed to the literature part. We identify some additional research for justifying our research and relationship of work in the context of its contribution to the topic. First, employee satisfaction, which is a dependent variable. There are 8 previous researchers that study about employee satisfaction. Most of them stated that the higher employee job satisfaction is associated with the better employee performance. Lack of a job satisfaction among officers can lead to the poor performance, health issues, making excessive force and attribution from the agency. Second is the relationship between working environment and employee satisfaction. There are 5 previous researchers that study about relationship working environment and employee satisfaction. Most of them stated that working environment is the most crucial factors that can influence level of employee satisfaction and motivation. Need to improve the workplace environment to produce productive employee and achieve their job satisfaction. Third is the relationship between career growth opportunities and employee satisfaction. There are 6 previous researchers that study about the relationship career growth opportunities and employee satisfaction. Most of them state that career growth as the opportunity for individuals to gain career growth in an organization. The higher the employee is given the opportunities to develop his or her career, the higher employee satisfaction, which impact on their work better. And the last one, the relationship between stress and employee satisfaction. There are 4 previous researchers that study about the relationship stress and employee satisfaction. According to them, job stress make employees more prone to error, poor performance, mental health issues, burnout, and conflict in the workplace. The employees does not carry out duties when unsatisfied. Okay, the next presenter.
Okay, we move to chapter 3. Research design. At Royal National Police, the person involved in the investigations procedure is Senior Investigation Officer, SIO, Investigation Officer, IO, and Assistant Investigation Officer, AIO. And the total of IO at IPD Johor Bahru Selatan 10, and the table shows in detail the strengths of police officers in 4 investigation departments. In order to collect the information from Royal National Police, descriptive research was used. The information was developed to build relationship about the most current of affairs. To gather information from respondents on the Royal National Police at IPD Johor environments, career growth and stress that contribute to job satisfaction. Data for statistical analysis was collected via a questionnaire. At the Royal National Police, personnel from IPD Johor Bahru Selatan were the target demographic for this quantitative research, and the study instruments included using a Google questionnaire for gathering data. For the sample, the population of officers for research was investigation officer. First report in department. The investigation section involved SIO, ASP rank, IO inspector rank, and AIO sub-inspector rank up to sergeant. Since the population is the sampling will involve the whole population, which is 110 investigation officers in IPD Johor Bahru Selatan. Next, we move to operationalizations of variables. For research questions 1 and 2, the method of analysis is correlations and regression analysis. Moreover, research questions and objective using method. Next presenter.
Okay, Okay, as you can see, based on the respondent demographic profile, the working hours among investigation officer exceed 8 hours, and the highest respondent is a sergeant, which is AIO. The highest departments of the respondent is an investigation officer from the criminal investigation department. Okay, next.
Okay, we move to descriptive analysis for employee satisfaction. As the table shows, present on employee satisfaction among investigation officers in IPD Johor. As we can see on the table, working Indonesia is reflected by a high score of 4.42, and respondents reported high levels of satisfaction with their current job, work engagements, working environments, and overall work characteristics. And they express a strong sense of pride in working in RMP and emphasize the importance of maintaining a good work-life balance. Okay, next, analysis of working environments. Okay. As you can see, the investigations officers perceive a positive coexistence between colleagues with a score of 4.18, and this suggests that they generally experience a harmonious relationship with their colleagues. And in summary, respondents generally perceive a positive working environment, and they express satisfaction with the conditions of the opportunity to utilize their abilities and sense of income from their job. Okay, next, we move to this analysis of career growth opportunity. Okay, as we can see that the high levels of career growth opportunities with a mean score of 4.81 is the officer expressed a high level of agreement that their current job facilitates them in accumulating abundant experience. And in summary, the respondents expressed mixed perceptions regarding career growth opportunities within their current job, while they acknowledge the alignment of their job with career goals, the provisions of development opportunities, and the facilitation of learning new skills and knowledge. The last, we move to descriptive analysis of stress, and the table presents data on the perceived level of stress among investigation officers in IPD Johor. The investigation officer indicates that public criticism of the police is considerable stressor, as reflected by a heightening score of 4.67, express a high level of agreements that there is insufficient power to adequately handle their job. Okay, next presenter.
Okay, summary of hypothesis testing. As we can see, the result hypothesis H1A and H1B perceived by investigation officer in IPD-JBS are accepted because the p-value is less than the significant level of 0.05, indicating that H1A and H1B a significant impact on employee satisfaction. For H1C, the hypothesis stating that the higher the stress, the lower the employee satisfaction perceived by the investigation officer in IPD-JBS is not accepted. The p-value is greater than 0.05, indicating a lack of significance, and the negative standardized coefficients suggest that stress does not have a significant impact on employee satisfaction. Okay, the next slide. Okay, discussion part. RMP personnel confirmed that the demographic characteristic of respondent in IPD-JBS. The data indicates that out of the 110 respondents, 68 individuals identified as male and 42 as a female. The age range between 31st until 40 years old. Most of the respondents have been in service below 10 years, and all respondents reported working 8 hours and more. Employee satisfaction as the dependent variable reported high satisfaction levels among respondents across multiple dimensions. The respondent took pride in working in the Royal Malaysian Police as reflected by a higher mean score. The findings indicated that the 2 of the 3 independent variables, which are work environment and career growth opportunities, had a significant relationship, while stress has no significant relationship with the employee satisfaction. H1A, there was strong positive correlation and significance between employee satisfaction. Thus, providing a positive working environment reduces challenges and enhances satisfaction among investigation officers in APDJBS. H1B, a strong positive correlation and significance was observed between employee satisfaction and career growth opportunities. The officers expressed that high level of agreement that their current jobs have facilitate them in accumulating abundant experience, thus improving skills and knowledge among investigation officers with the latest information. They are motivated and satisfied when able to handle any cases in their own style. And the last one, H1C, the correlation analysis indicated a weak positive correlation does not have a significant impact between employee satisfaction and stress. Although the coefficient indicates the negative influence, the p-value suggests that this relationship is not statistically significant. Police officers are routinely exposed to high level of stress depending on the individual's perspective. And now, Malaysians easily go viral when unsatisfied with their RMP services, which reflected a higher mean score among officers when experiencing a negative attitude by citizens and media. Okay, the next presenter.
Okay, next we move to the TOS metric, which is the recommendations. Okay, first is attach police officer with the department according to their education background, can help them to perform better on job. They can use their specialized knowledge and abilities. Second is encourage new ideas and innovations among police officers is crucial for adaptability and effectiveness in a constantly changing in the law enforcement environment. Third is provide international courses learning, enable cross-cultural learning for police officers, allowing them to appreciate cultural safety, diverse population, and global crime. Okay, next is improve information operation. One of the myths of the decrease in the public in the government is the communication gap between government and public. Social media can reach into the communication and enhance transparency and accountability. Next is exposing investigation officer to the various criminal trends. When officers are given the opportunity to work on a variety of cases, they may feel more challenged and engaged in their work. Next is conduct seminar and refresher courses in investigation. Through retraining, investigation officer can broaden their knowledge and enhance their skill. Next is increase inter collaboration. It can reduce the police officer workload through resources sharing and specializations. Police community engagement is crucial for rebuilding and strengthening public trust in the law enforcement. This is implementing a coaching and mentoring program. Senior police officer can mentor and guide the new recruit, helping them to develop skill and navigate their role. Next is supply equipment. The RMP Police Management Department must constantly monitor working conditions as well as the resources and equipment provided to its officers that are accurate for the relevant working environment. And the last one is a review promotion system. Promotion opportunity positively impact the job satisfaction and motivation. RMP should take action to ensuring fair and timely promotion in order to prevent stagnations and encourage continuous improvement. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. How are you feeling right now? Lega? Okay, let's move on.
Lepas lagi.
Really? Oh, lepas lagi. Okay, saya bagi soalan kurangkan nervous lah hopefully. Okay, Fairuz, based on your findings, okay, does it confirm to your expectation earlier regarding, career growth of the police officer and all that?
Yes.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, so if yes, what lesson can you draw on from your research?
Okay, based on the result findings that we have received from the study, that the working environment and career growth opportunities is in most significant with the employee satisfaction rather than the stress. Because as a police officers, before we joining RMP, we already know that the police RMP situation is stress is unavoidable in the RMP. So so when we can see that the stress is a high need for employee satisfaction, we can say that is the most important for us rather than the working environment and the career growth opportunities.
Okay, all right, noted that. So Ashira, based on your findings and all that, what recommendation would be the best one to recommend based on the issue that you're facing right now?
Doctor, for recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay, I think for recommendations, to provide international course and training for police officer, because police officer they are a huge challenge when attempting to uphold law and order and combat crime and ensure public safety. So they have to ongoing professional development to reach a skill, knowledge, and job, because for training programs and course, police officer can get opportunity to study the best practice employed by law enforcement organizations in other countries. So they will broaden perspective, which give them a new way to solve issues with their respective fields, and they can interact from other countries during international courses and training, and they can while they interact with others, police from other countries, they can foster cultural learning, enabling officers to more fully appreciate culture sensitivities and various global nature of the crime.
All right, thank you, Ashira. Fairuz, you punya DV, yeah, your dependent variable is employee satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
So, say that again, you are somebody in the police officer. What is the single factor that you want to improve?
The IV, Doctor.
Yeah, can be your IV.
I think the career growth opportunity. I think that the RMP should improve that on the career growth opportunity, especially on the promotion system. The RMP should review again, because currently the promotion system is not, for me, is not acceptable, because the promotion is I give an example. The promotion is for inspector to ASP is more than 9 years above that you're eligible to attend the interviewers and the examiner exams. So I think that should shorten that times because I think that the promotion is the main for the employee satisfaction, because the long you in the same rank, I think it may lower your motivations.
All right, good answer. This is somewhat parallel to your descriptive analysis findings. Okay, I believe that the score is below 3, if I'm not mistaken, relating to career growth opportunities. Okay, so let's move on to the specific question and comments. Okay, I do hope again, this is just my comments, my overview, my view regarding this, the whole thesis. Just that, whatever it is, just go back to your supervisor and discuss. Doesn't mean that you have to accept everything that I'm going to throw you here, okay? So on the part of 1.2, background of the study, you did mention something about, there have been few studies on employee satisfaction and none has been conducted. Okay, who said so? Who said this? That is actually a question. Siapa yang cakap tu, Fairuz? Or it's just a general narrative, general point of view from coming from your end, is it? Yeah. So please avoid, in your research, you need to avoid this kind of statement. Okay, I think it is impossible for us to say there's no study has been conducted. Okay, please avoid this primacy statement, okay? Okay, and then again, for situational analysis, SWOT analysis, I need to compliment you. Well done. Okay, in terms of the SWOT and those analysis, it does fit into the context of your research title. Just then, I want you to revisit perhaps the keyboard warrior. You did mention the elements. One of the elements is keyboard warrior and public good knowledge in law. Okay, perhaps you need to tweak a little bit. Yeah, we know that keyboard warrior is actually an issue. Perhaps there's a, term yang lebih sesuai dia kena pakai. Okay, and then again, perhaps you can, please back up your SWOT with evidence if applicable. I think you have learned about strategic management. Whenever we do this SWOT analysis, if you, let's say you give AQCD criteria, accurate, timely, some kind of statistic, it would be a lot better. Okay. So for the 1.52 problem statement, you did include, what was it? I think the workflow of I/O, if I'm not mistaken. Ada tak dalam problem statement, the workflow of I/O reporting something? I think there is. So my recommendation is that this part is suitable if, let's say, you move it to, the earlier part, the introduction or perhaps the background, instead of just putting the full figure inside the problem statement. It can disrupt the flow. Okay. All right, and then again, research objective. Your research dah ada semua, just that perhaps you need to tweak a little bit, okay? Especially on the A, the first research objective. What was it that you want to trying to find out? Fairuz or anyone? Farah, what is your first research objective?
Research objective 1. To determine the relationship between working environments, career growth, opportunity, social expression.
And
And
perhaps apa yang you nak cakap, perhaps something should be like this, to examine the relationship between the IV towards ataupun on DV rather than N. Okay. Walaupun it can be a small, English error, it can lead to different meaning. Okay. So for the second research question, what are you trying to get from this? Second research questions.
Doctor, please pardon the question, Doctor.
Sorry?
Pardon the question.
Okay, research question 2. What are you trying to get from this? Is it RO2? Yes, RO2. Second research objective. What do you want to measure? Anyone? You did mention to identify employee satisfaction, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in terms of working environment, career growth, and stress. Betul ke?
Yes, Doctor.
Betul.
SWOT, based on SWOT analysis.
So that one is based on SWOT analysis. So is it similar to C, to provide recommendation solutions? Okay. Anyhow, please revisit with your, supervisor regarding this.
Okay.
I do think, let's say you mentioned B is SWOT and then C pun you buat those analysis. It's somewhat overlapping with one another. Okay. And let's moving on to the literature review. Overall, I do believe that you should underpin your research to a specific theory. Yeah, I get it for this MBA level, MBA level. At the very least, you should, just underpin it into specific theory. That would be a lot better. Okay. And then the overall comment for the literature review, perhaps literature review should be, part of the functions of literature review is that you need to summarize and synthesize, analyze, interpret, your own words and critically evaluate the overall review or the past research rather than, you bagi macam, there were so many general narrative. You zoom in solely on, according to this Karamanis Anis Papua public research, you just explain one by one research. Okay, that is the first step of literature review. First step, the subsequent step for you to analyze, really make a synthesis out of it. Okay, itu yang diperlukan.
Baik, Doktor.
Boleh?
Boleh, Doktor.
Alright, okay. Sikit lagi. 4.3 correlation analysis. can you justify why did you use the correlation value as R instead of beta coefficient? You tulis R tau. 4.3 correlation analysis. What does R mean here?
R means Pearson correlation coefficient, Doctor. It's the correlation analysis used to see if an independent variable has a meaningful effect on the dependent variable.
So is it the correct representation of the value by using R? Okay, that one. Please revisit. If let's say betul, just go for it. No problem. Okay. And 5.1 introduction. Please relook on the first paragraph. You did mention something. Based on regression analysis, it is found that the independent variables, 72.6% respondent are satisfied with what working in IPD. Okay, I believe that yang itu perlu revisit semula. Okay, that one is R squared, but R squared, the extrapolation, you cannot say like this, okay? Okay, right. Last but not least, the conclusion of chapter 5. Please revisit the conclusion. It needs to be more polished. Okay, good confident, but you need to have a, neutral narrative, neutral tone, rather than giving your dia macam ada some kind of pessimistic sikit. So tone tu refurbish sedikit with confidence. Okay, academic confident, I have to say. So overall, last but not least, please check the references. Ensure all adhere to APA 7 edition format. The first page of references, I think okay, but second page, dah nampak banyak lah tu. Okay, please revisit. Okay. So overall, very interesting research. Yeah, I did enjoy reading it, especially on the recommendations. Yeah, well done. Thank you.
Noted, Doctor. Thank you for your comments and recommendation.
Baru advisor boleh on kamera sebab dia orang tak boleh bercakap. Tak on pun tak boleh cakap juga. Macam mana tu? Hai. Okay, we take a picture. Group 2. We'll see you again. InsyaAllah on the whole things tu recover balik. Muka dah tak tahu dah cakap macam mana dah. Okay, thank you. And then Dr. Syahmi, you need 5 minutes ke?
Waalaikumsalam. nak cari button tak jumpa.
Dia pagi-pagi Jumaat memang cari mata pun tak jumpa dah sekarang.
I'm so sorry, Dr. Tahira. I thought that I just need to attend my sessions.
Tak apa. My bad juga sebab I tak panggil awak, tak apa.
That's why I just attend at 9:40.
It's okay. Kita hargai walau macam mana pun. Kita ada ramai orang kata penonton di talian je sebenarnya. Termasuk grup ABP791U. Okay. So don't worry. Supaya dia orang dapat kata pendedahan sikit kan.
Yeah, because of I think last time the presentation is group by group kan.
Yeah.
But this time around you change it. Okay, never mind, it's okay. I'm so sorry, okay?
It's okay, don't worry. So group 3, everyone is here. Saya tak nampak lagi Sherry, Sophia dah. And Ernie?
I think Ernie is here.
Ernie dah ada kan?
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Syahmi pun dah ready semua. Saya nampak dia dah on camera. So group 3, are you ready? So saya boleh mula lah kot. The moment you start orang kata presenting, I'll start timing. Okay, all the best group 3.
Okay, alright. Thank you, Doctor.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Syahmi. We are from Group 3. We are going to present customer behavior intention towards 100 digital water bill payment, a case of Rahim SAJ Mersing Agency. Next. Okay, so for introduction, since COVID-19 widespread in 2020, digital payment has become an extensive method of payment for internet goods and bill purchases. So method of digital payments are including e-wallet, Boost, GrabPay, FPX, and debit and credit card. So according to McKinsey & Company 2020, there are 30 to 40% rise in public expenditure on internet commerce. So digital payment has a lot of potential, but a journey towards a fully digital payment society is not easy. plus the various factors added to the barriers in adopting digital payment. So Malaysia needs to improve the digital payment system where everyone has equal and fair access to a formal financial system as well as more sophisticated instrument. Next. Okay, as you can see from the figure here, show the total active account at Rahim SAJ Mersing. In 2020, there are only 90,920 accounts, while in 2021, there are 20,071 accounts. So the reason for rises in accounts in 2021 may be due to increasing housing projects and business. As of 2022, there are 20,034 accounts. Next. Okay, so this figure show the total of customer payment method. As you can see from the graph, the purple line represent over-the-counter payment, the blue line represent My SAJ apps, and the green line is other channel payment methods like e-wallet or FPX. So in 2020, total customer paid over using the other channel recorded the highest, which is 51.83%, and total customer paid over the counter is 33.55, higher than My SAJ apps, which is only 15.62%. But in 2021, total customer paid over the counter decreased gradually to 29.53%, while the total customer paid via My SAJ increased to 59.33. So the changes of payment pattern in 2021 mainly due to coronavirus outbreak. So customer need to switch their payment pattern from cash to contactless payment. And also in 2021, My SAJ apps was also introduced. And in 2022, My SAJ and other payment and other channel payment recorded the higher compared to over the counter. As you can see from the graph, over the counter only recorded 15.44%. Next. So for the problem statement, Rahim SAJ intend to fully implement the digital payment system in 1 to 2 years. Based on the figure that I showed you just now, there are only 15.44% of Rahim SAJ customer that are still using over-the-counter payment. So this study is conducted as a proposal to Rahim SAJ to make a strategic decision whether to accelerate the over-the-counter elimination or to maintain the payment counter as regard to the relevant factor to be considered. Thanks. So this is the SWOT analysis. As for the strength, Rahim SAJ is a well-defined vision and company strategy towards digital transformation at the global level. So they allocate a budget pool for digital investment and enhancement, and they focus on sustainability and energy efficiency in operation management. As for the weakness, their My SAJ apps require enhancement to support a large number of consumers, and inconsistent of digital mindset on digital acceptance and the right attitude, and the needs for the digital are recognized but not formalized by the consumer. And based on the figure I showed just now, the number of over-the-counter payment is still considered high. And for the opportunity, the improved IT infrastructure and operation, information via digital tools and methods is available for easy access. As for the threat, the cybersecurity threat is a barriers to digitalization, including demographic, geographic, and psychographic factors. Next.
Okay, I will talk. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Can you hear it? Okay. For the TOS metric analysis, okay, for the SO strategy, okay, SAJ Rahim need to reduce their IT infrastructure in place for digital product development, and though also offering the eco-friendly product to attract the environment consumer. And also for the S3 strategy, the SNJ Rahim need to be incorporate their cyber security for digital transformation strategy. This will enhance the counter barriers to the digitization infrastructure, and then also they need to implement the sustainable practice eco-friendly My SAJ apps. Okay, next. Okay, for the WO strategy, SAJ Rahim need for their weak payment system, they need to improve their payment system capacity, and also there are less the capacity, there are less of the acceptance by the customer over the counter, so they need to provide same easy to use digital payment option, such as we will provide the recommendation at the another slide. And for the WT strategy, witness and they need to conduct the regular risk assessment that can protect the customer data. They need to develop the targeted strategies to overcome the geographical limitation, and also to optimization of the payment system against the user friendliness. Okay, next.
Okay, so this is our theoretical framework. We have 4 independent variables, which is perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, perceived risk, and perceived security. And our dependent variable is customer behavior intention towards 100 digital water bill payment. And this study adopts a TAM model proposed by Fred Davis in 1989. Thanks. So this is our research question and research objective. The first one, we want to identify the factor that affect customer behavior intention towards 100 digital water bill payment. The second one, we want to examine the relationship between our independent variable with dependent variable. And the last one is to propose a recommendation on improving customer behavior intention towards 100 digital water bill payment. Next.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will continue with the chapter 2, the literature review. Based on the table here, this is the literature sources that we find that concludes for our research. For the first one is the customer behavioral intention, which is followed with the literature sources there. And the findings is the many research find that the customer behavioral intention is based on the many factors. And among the similarity is the ease of use and usefulness, which will enhance the customer behavioral intention and will lead to their intention to use digital payment. The second row is the perceived ease of use. This is the independent variable, followed with the literature sources. And the findings is the most of the recent study found that significant relationship between the perceived ease of use and the customer behavioral intention to use digital payments. And number 3 is a perceived usefulness, followed with the literature sources. And the finding is a positive impact on the intention to use digital payment, and the perceived usefulness also one of the determining factors into the intention use of digital payments. And the number 4 is a perceived risk, which is also the literature sources. And the findings provide insight into the concern on the hesitation by the respondents regarding towards the digital payment, which is this indicate that perceived risk issues are related to the fraud, unauthorized data access, account protection, and higher risk. And the number 5 is a perceived security. Also there, the literature sources on the slide, and the respondents find, which is this perceived security is moderately secure for Rahul SCJ customer able to use digital payment after knowing that the payments channel is secure and safe. For next presenter.
Okay, for the chapter 3, research methodology. Okay, the total population for this study is 3,094, and the first sample is based from the Morgan table 2070, which is 341 study. Okay, this concludes for the 11%. For the sampling design, we are using the purposive sampling, and for the data resource, we are using the questionnaire, which we have been were taken from the customer over the counter, and then how they accept this 100% digital payment, and then the statistical reports from the SAJ, and also from the journal of the such as Emerald Insight or the Science Direct. Okay, next. Okay, for the hypothesis, okay, this hypothesis we are using to see which variable either can reject or fail to reject the customer variable towards the 100% digital. Okay, as example, in this study, we have the 4 hypotheses. Firstly, perceived ease of use. perceived usefulness, perceived risk, perceived security. Okay, for example, perceived ease of use for the rational, the perceived ease of use does not significantly influence the customer behavioral intention towards the 100% digital water bill payment at the Rahim SAJ Mersing Agency. Okay, for the H1, the perceived ease of use significantly influence the customer behavioral intention towards 100% digital water bill payment at the Rahim SAJ Mersing. Okay, next. I pass to my colleague.
Next, for chapter 4, finding and analysis. So for the age, majority of our respondent is 40 to 49 years old with and 30 and 39 years old, which is 26.6%. And for the occupation of our respondent, the highest occupation is from private sector with 48.20%, and the lowest is retired with 30%. Sorry. Next. So for pay water bill 4, majority of our respondents pay for themselves with 36.90%, and the lowest is 16.60% pay for others. Others are including renters or business like shop lot, convenience store, or restaurant. And for the knowledge on Rahi SAJ digital payment, surprisingly, a quite number of respondents still are not aware regarding Rahi SAJ has digital payment. Next. For reliability analysis, so a minimum acceptable alpha is 0.7 and alpha greater than 0.8 is considered strong internal consistency. As you can see from our table here, the findings show that the variable measurement has a high reliability in reflecting the variables. So as a result, we may infer that our questionnaire is utilized in the study is credible. Next.
Okay, for the regression analysis, on the left side, the table left side shows the coefficient analysis, which is we use the t-test to determine the significance of all the variables. As we can see on the slide, the perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, and perceived security show the significant value less than 0.05, whereby the perceived risk is 0.801, which is more than 0.05, which is for the perceived ease of use and usefulness and security, it is contribute significantly towards the customer behavioral intention towards digital payment, while for the perceived risk is did not contribute significantly. For the right side, the table, the ANOVA test is we use the F test as a level of significance. From the result, we deem the model has been deemed significant and accepted based on the table, since the p-value and the F ratio is less than 0.01. And then the below table is the multiple regression analysis, which is the adjusted R squared shows that the value of 0.872%, which is this indicate all the independent variables influence variable on consumer behavioral intention. And this analysis also answer the research objective number 1. Okay, for the next, this is the hypothesis, which is the hypothesis from the regression analysis. We answer the hypothesis for the perceived ease of use for the number 1 row, and the number 2 row, and the number 4 row is we reject a null hypothesis. And for number 3rd row, the perceived risk, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. For the next is Pearson correlation analysis, which this is to examine the correlation between the independent variable on the dependent variable, which is here we see that the significant related between the dependent and independent variable on the significant to tail shows the 0.001, which is show that the strength of the association for the perceived ease of use very strong, perceived usefulness also strong, and perceived security also strong. Only the perceived risk shows the negative, which is negatively strong relationship. And for this analysis will answer the research objective for number 2. Okay, next.
Okay, I will take over for the conclusion. Okay, and recommendation. Okay, for the conclusion, we are using the term technology acceptance model from the framework of this study. and using the SPSS software to conduct their data analysis. Okay, as we can see from the analysis we are doing, the perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and perceived security are the factors that affect the customer behavior intention for the objective number 2. And then for they also that the perceived ease of use, usefulness, and security has a positive relationship with the customer behavior intention. And then for the perceived risk has a negative relationship with the customer behavior intention. Okay, the recommendation of this implementation of the 100% digital payment, we recommend for the SAJ to have implement the two phase. Firstly, they need to ask the customer which come to the counter, and SAJ nanti will provide the tabs and show how this digital, how they need to do the payment by themselves, and then SAJ will show how step by step. And then the other phase, they need to implement the counter. Okay, for the recommendation, this study need to have the another perceived trust for the future study. And then as we can see, the 43 is unknown for the digital payment. So to increase the customer awareness, okay, SAJ now here need to provide the informative flyers and also the leverage the social media platform. Thirdly, they also need to design a user-friendly interface to minimize. They also need to minimize the step and also provide the clear instruction. Okay, to increase the highest trust of the customer, SAJ need to provide the confirmation of the successful payment, such as by the email or the SMS. This will provide the transparency to the customer, and also they need to personalization of the notification that will provide a sense of the security. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Let's proceed with the general Q&A first. So again, disclaimer, whatever it is that I ask you, the comments, please go back to Dr. Farida, your supervisor, okay, to discuss whether or not you want to take this or not, okay? So the general question first is to Irni, upon Irni, right? Okay. There are many channels of payment, especially for the water, utility, dan sebagainya. So, why customers should use My SAJ in the first place?
Okay, actually, for the My SAJ that we actually build up for the customer, because for customer, if they pay through the My SAJ, the payment will be directly debit us. So is more easier rather than they use the other channel of payment, because sometimes let's say they pay to 7E, they will take about this to appear on our bank account. So through the My SAJ, it more easier, because from the My SAJ apps also they will actually they can see, then and they can also view their bill as well. It's more easier on the one apps. For all the information is there actually.
All right, okay, thank you. Sherry, have you ever used My SAJ before?
No.
Right,
But,
okay.
okay. Because I also doesn't know this existing apps. After the study, then I just know the application.
All right, okay. Sophia, what lesson can you draw on from your research findings?
From my research finding, I think based on our problem, if Rahil decided to close over-the-counter payment, they definitely should do it in phases, because not everyone, as you can see from our respondent of age, is more on like more than 30 years old, 40 years old. So maybe they are not adapt to digital payment yet. So it's better for Rahil to do phases. Like Sherry mentioned, the phase one maybe whenever customer come to Rahil can show them how to do the payment using iPad, or maybe they can provide a kiosk. And also regarding the My SAJ apps, I think Rahil should I think raise awareness regarding their apps. So maybe they can, instead of other channel, they can focus on My SAJ apps, so that more customer can aware of the existence and use the My SAJ apps.
All right, got it. Good answer. Okay, let's moving on to the specific question regarding your thesis. Okay, overall, is it really necessary to mention 100% digital water payment inside the title?
Okay, Sophia, want to answer?
Yeah, that is a question. Can somebody answer that?
Okay, actually for the wording that 100% digital payment, we use actually to show that because the research, this study is if we actually close the counter, so the customer need to pay through the digital payments. Mean 100% means totally use the digital payments. Okay, there's no other. I mean, without the counter, means customer now has to select all the types of digital payment that provide in the media.
Okay, got it. But still, I would recommend for you to stick to just, factors influencing like behavioral intention to use digital payment without the wording of 100%. But you have to discuss with your SB regarding this one, okay? All right, and moving on to 1.1, the preamble introduction. Please check the impact citation formatting. You can see there are a lot of not to say errors, room for improvement, okay? Especially on the Al-Huda, Al-Qaidi, Rahma Ismail and all that, not just for this page, but the subsequent pages as well, okay? Can you justify how did you derive this statement? The journey towards a digital payment society is difficult, especially in Malaysia. Where do you get this statement?
I think I just quote this.
You quoted this from somewhere, is it, Sophia?
No, it's actually my own word.
Okay, so whatever it is, please back up with good evidence, okay? Because right now, the pandemic really propel us to this kind of digital adoption and all that. If let's say you say it is still difficult and all that, please justify, okay? So 1.2, background of research. I found that this is, little discussion was mentioned here. There were only two evidence, Pata and Purnomo, 2021. So you may enrich this part with more discussion on digital payment system, okay? On the context of government agencies, not just in Malaysia. Yeah, try to find out neighboring countries ke mana-mana that you can really discuss this, okay? For the SWOT analysis, 1.5.1.1, well done. Yeah, I would say that all of the elements fit well into the context, okay, research context. However, if let's say you have good evidence, please back up your elements, okay? And then again, I would always recommend for the students to use AQCD criteria whenever you want to derive your, SWOT. Okay, statistics, for example. If you have statistics, you can give good strategies because you have indication, you have guidelines. Okay, so if let's say this is 5%, so what kind of percentage that you should be responding to, for example, okay? So for the problem statement, only one citation was mentioned. Betul tak? Is it Ozili 2020 only? Okay, so I think the overall problem statement, it should be more polished. It should be more polished, especially on the issues and the problems. Yeah, whenever you say that, behavior, intention, dan sebagainya, it should be the main central theme of the problems. So you have to discuss on that rather than, giving points from the report. It is not sufficient. You should be linking the statement to to the academia as well, not just from what is on the ground. Faham tak? Okay. All right. So for the research framework, you did use STAM, right?
Yes.
Technology acceptance model. And I believe that some part of the variables in terms of the position has been changed here. For example, if I'm not mistaken, if let's say you want to use STAM, there is ETU, attitudes towards using, as the mediator, if I'm not mistaken. So before you want to explain the behavioral intention, should have what? Attitude towards using first. Only then you can explain customer behavioral intention. So my question is, how did you derive this framework?
So,
Where is ETU? Attitude to using.
Attitude of using.
Yeah.
Because it is on the journal.
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen TAM model before? Technology acceptance model?
Yeah, it is based on the journal.
This one, the 4-to-1.
Yes.
Okay, if let's say we have, again, many kind of framework that we adopt dan sebagainya. If let's say you want to stick to this kind of framework, you should, at least justify where they get this from. Okay, whenever you play with something that is very theoretical, like TAM is well established dan sebagainya, you need to give a good evidence, good justification. Okay, panel, they can easily have this kind of interpretation. Why do you change the placement of this, variables? On what basis that you want to derive this and that? Where is ATU? Yeah, supposedly perceive useful to masuk atas, turun bawah dan sebagainya. Okay, yeah, we're not expecting you explain in detail like PhD. Yeah, at least some statements mentioning where they get this framework from. Boleh?
Okay.
Okay. 1.6 research question, research objective. I would recommend you to use, numbering list instead of bullet form inside your thesis.
Okay.
All right. Apa lagi? Yeah, on the part of literature review, same comment as the previous group. Okay, you just focus down solely on, okay, contoh dekat sini, Zhao et al., what did they do? What kind of sampling? And then Yongping et al., 2022, investigate what? Literature review should be full of summary, synthesize, critical recap. Okay, that's what we are looking for. Okay. Okay, 3.6.3.4, operationalization of the variables. The questions. Did you adopt multiple questions from different sources of authors?
for questionnaire,
Yeah, for the questionnaire. For example, table 3.4 here, item measurement for perceived ease of use. You did mention inside the evidence, Hubert et al. 2017, Venkatesh, Morisa Davis 2003, and Shaw 2014. Does it mean that you adopt from multiple sources?
Okay, give me our time, doctor, to recheck.
Or is it they're using, you're saying that all of this research is using this instrument?
we are using this instrument.
Okay, all of the research using this instrument, is it? Okay, let's say you want to say that all of this research using this instrument, you should cite the original authors. Okay, author mana yang keluarkan this kind of measurement instead of, okay, author ni pakai measurement this dan sebagainya. Okay, get it? Okay, 4.2, descriptive analysis. You did mention a set of 341 questionnaires were distributed, but at the end of the day, only 301 were analyzed. Was analyzed, eh?
Yes.
Yang lain tu pergi mana?
Because we have issue in the time, because I think because of the approval from RAC is quite late, so we only have limited time to distribute the questionnaire. So Kak ini really try her best to distribute all the questionnaire, but only 301 respondent that agree to to write the questionnaire for us to fill in.
Okay, got it. Then you should make proper amendments. Okay, please don't mention 341 question were distributed. Just mention 301 only, because whenever you have this kind of missing fasteners, missing value, there are a lot of analysis that you need to do. But again, at this level, EMBA level, you may need to distribute what 301 question. That is really commendable lah. Okay, well done. Okay, boleh lagi sikit Dr. Tahira, sikit je lagi. Okay, so yeah, perceive is of use on the part of the chapter 5. Okay, please do proper formatting and subheadings. Yeah, subheading tiba-tiba hilang. Okay, instead of 5.2 point something, dia macam terus je title tu. So it can disrupt the flow lah. And then again, I recommend you to use association, okay, or relationship instead of correlation. Okay, just revisit balik part situ saja. Okay, perceive is obvious, because whenever you say the correlation, it implies that you have taken this from different analysis, not regression. But your interpretation is more on regression. Okay, as it stands, you punya research objectives are well placed. Okay, well done. Last but not least, on the part of recommendations, please again do subheadings. It was too lengthy for me to read. And again, you have different points, multiple recommendations and all that. Please divide it to subheadings. Okay, can make manageable to read lah. And then again, I would recommend you to merge your recommendation with the those analysis that you have done in chapter 1, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, the earlier chapter. Okay, so I recommend you to bring the tools to recommendation. But again, it's up to your discussion with your supervisor. Okay, I think that's it. Overall, well done. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor, for your recommendation.